What's up, friends of the good mood? This is Manni, and welcome to the top 5 beginner's guide here, or beginner robots and setups and weapons all together. I want to help you focus your resources on where they are useful for as long as possible, right? You won't have any of these robots forever, but there are certain setups that have turned out to be more relevant for a longer time, and this is what I'm gonna get you here, along with the suggested weapons. Starting off with number 1, the Patton here as a long-range option. You're not really going to use the Patton with a brawler. A Gecko is great, Magnums are great, Shredder and Spark, harder to get but would be good as well. You're seeing here I use the lowest of all weapons, the pins. And these pins offer you 500 meters range with lots of splash damage. I actually double killed somebody right there. You see you have a decent amount of damage output, but the reload takes forever. Better would be the Geckos. This is actually something you even see in higher leagues sometimes still, because it is a lot of firepower at long range with these 4 lasers. They are also type of beginner weapons and really suitable for the job. The goal here is to outrange the enemy with a Patton because he's not really a good brawling fighter. By the way, if you like this guide and you find it helpful, then consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. Continuing on with number 2, your first tank brawler, if you will, the Leo, with a lot of HP, suitable for long range and short range combat. Very useful on it is Shredder, of course. We have Blaze and Ember and Spark that you can use. You could also use Punishers and Pins, but I would go with more DPS if you could. The shotguns are actually quite good. Redeemers and Avengers are good, as I said. And what you see me run here as a beginner setup is the Magnums and Redeemers. Although Redeemers are considered legendary, they are not as hard to get as some other weapons are, and the Magnums are something you can put relatively early on your robot. The Leo only requires level 10 in War Robots, so you can get it really early on due to that massive HP pool it provides. You can really sustain firepower even in higher end gameplay, which of course doesn't really make sense. What we're doing here is kind of irregular. I'm fighting this old beginner type robot in the top end Champions League meta right now. But even though this high end Revenant attacks me, I can still stand my ground kind of, because this thing packs such an HP pool that it just takes a while to get it destroyed, right? So the Leo is definitely something you're gonna be able to have for a longer time, and something you don't replace immediately, like for example a Vityaz or a Golem. You run them for a little bit, but the Leo eventually turns out to be a better beacon brawler, for example, right? Look, here comes a powerful luchador titan, probably maxed jumping in onto that beacon, and I with my old beginner Leo can actually hammer away at the guy and do a decent amount of damage. I'm one of the only people, I think I'm the only one hitting him right now, and you see this titan is actually losing a lot of health from it. That continuous firing of the Magnums is very effective, the Redeemer firepower is brutal, and overall it's just really a strong setup, and you don't want to have this Leo shooting into your backside even though it is a beginner robot. Yeah, definitely something to keep for a while, and something that is worth focusing on in the beginning, similar to, of course, what I'm going to show you next. Because once you reach level 13, you have access to the Griffin that you can also buy from silver only. And to me, the Griffin is more like a brawler than a long-range robot, due to that jump surprising enemies, but you can also run it with long-range options like Shredder, Pulsar, Spark, right? You could also stay with Pins and Tulumbas. It's actually not a bad setup to begin with, and I would even suggest some of you guys who have struggled getting the resources in for some more powerful equipment, start with Pins and Tulumbas. You will not be disappointed because you don't die so fast with a 500 meters range that allows you to fire from further away without getting hit. Of course, the better you get your equipment leveled, and the more equipment becomes available to you, the more you'll be able to use more powerful weapons from different rarity levels and put some more damage output onto the Griffin. You've seen in the beginning what I've shown you, those are all relevant options. Yeah, it's just really a strong setup, and the Griffin used to be one of the most powerful robots in the game. For a time, it was even the most dangerous. It was one of those robots that was able to destroy effectively the Lancelots or Ancelots back in the days with Orkans and Pinatas. I would not recommend Orkans and Pinatas anymore. Their damage output is not good enough anymore. You just have spend too much time reloading. But back then they were good, and what you can still do is the old Plasma Griffin with Magnums and Tarans. Absolutely insane. You see we're running 2 Tarans here on the outer sides, and instead of Magnums I have Punishers in the center, just to show you that these are not irrelevant. They actually can be used. Of course, it is nowhere near as effective as some of the other weapons I've shown and mentioned, but that's a beginner's guide, and the purpose is to show you what you can do if you don't have all the good stuff available, right? And these weapons do work. You can destroy things. You see me in a one-on-one versus one of the most powerful or dangerous assassin robots, the Orochi with double punchers, and I got locked, but my jump becomes ready, and I can jump over him, basically making him lose his target lock on, and once his stealth is destroyed, that old beginner type robot destroys him. So yeah, that's the Griffin for you, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely a powerhouse. That jump surprises enemies. It allows you to get to positions or bypass terrain that other robots wouldn't be able to bypass. A good example is the map Moon, for example. Even Springfield is a good example where you can jump up on ledges that other robots have to walk around, you know? So yeah, that's a great robot. Number 4 is the Hover. That is both for long range and short range. It has a decent amount of HP. It brings 3 passive modules that you can use, and very good mobility, and this would be the reason I also suggest this is because it's easier to get, and it's a very good beacon runner. If you are interested in beacon rush or domination, it is really good to have this robot. Even in team death, team deathmatch maybe not so much, but in free for all, for example, with the flight that allows you to get an angle on the enemy no matter where they try to hide. It allows you to steal kills very good. It's just overall, look at this, I'm getting shoved away by a Minos charging ability, and I'm able to just activate the flight and fly across the map with like 200 kilometers per hour. The fastest robot in the entire game that you have just seen right there. Nothing would be as fast as this one thing that you have just seen, due to that launch from the enemy Titan Minos here. But it can also fly around really fast without that and become a really effective beacon runner. Something that I would really want to have in a big when my hangar is early. Here, have a little funny icon right there that I implemented. Looks like a smiley. So yeah, that was the number 4. And now let's get to the most universal of all those robots, the number 5, the Falcon, short range. Number 5 means it's harder to obtain, but it is the best. Because of this skill right here, traditionalist Falcon, you should try and get that one pilot skill in there. You can have a green pilot. What it means, it will give you insane resistance bonuses. You can build the Falcon here too in the workshop, by the way. It will take you a little while, but it's gonna be worth it with that pilot skill. Avengers, Thunders, Glory, Ember, Calamity, pretty much anything. Punchers, of course, Redeemers, the legendary weapons, Bane, the Devastators, no matter what you get, the Hammer, the new one, the Smuta, everything is good on this thing. Every weapon, also Nucleons are very good. Every weapon that offers a high amount of damage output for a long period of time, with sustained damage output, right? Not like Glacier or what the other rockets are, where you just empty the clip and that's it. Your damage is over now. No, you need to have a weapon. Even the old Thunder that I'm running right here is very dangerous on the Falcon. And what that traditionalist pilot skill does, it removes the other 2 heavy weapons. So now you only have to level a single weapon. You only level up this one robot and one weapon, and you're perfectly suited to block damage forever, to tank damage for a long time, to hold beacons, attack beacons, brawl away robots, like for example here, a powerful invader that's going to jump on me, and I'm having the new hammer shotguns on that Falcon right here, just to show you that even newer setups benefit still, or newer weapons still benefit from the Falcon. This is one of the robots you would really keep for an extremely long time. If you spend your resources leveling the Falcon, you will not regret it, because this thing, especially due to the fact you only have to level one weapon with that pilot skill, is an absolute disaster for the enemy team, because it just can't really be killed. It takes forever to get rid of it. It has a lot of firepower with that one heavy weapon. It's not bad, and it just becomes one of the hardest things to destroy. And yeah, therefore, your best beginner type setup you can get your hands on as soon as it's possible, obviously. According to my research, it requires level 16 to be able to build and get this thing, and as soon as you can. try and make it happen and level this because as I said, you won't regret it. So, ladies and gents, that was my top 5 best beginner setups, robots, and weapons as well. Trying to include as much information as I can here to help you in your first kind of hundreds of hours maybe in War Robots, and help you focus your resources where they matter the most. Okay. Hopefully you had some fun time watching, and we'll catch you in the next video episode, ladies and gents. See you then. Manni-Gaming signing off. Bye-bye. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, consider doing that. I would appreciate it.